Today I'm talking about 3 horror films, all directed by Kevin Smith. And the names of those 3 movies are Holidays, Red State, and Killroy Was Here. First up is Holidays. This is a 2016 anthology film, and it's like true anthology in that each of the different sections was directed by a different person, and they're only loosely connected in that they're all horror-esque stories, each about a different holiday. I honestly went into this with pretty low expectations, but was really pleasantly surprised by most of these. And since it's an anthology film, I really have to go through each individual section to truly talk about the movie. But on the whole, I would say the filmmaking was actually really good. Like, it was shot really well, it looked really good, most of the performances were solid, most of the effects were good. There's definitely monsters in a number of these, and more often than not, it worked well. So going in order, it starts off with Valentine's Day. It's the story of this preteen girl who is in love with her swimming instructor, but is constantly bullied by her classmates, and that's all I can really say without spoilers. The bullying was definitely a bit too much. Just toning it down just a little bit would have done a lot, because on the whole, this is really good. This is such a fantastic one. Like, there's bits of humor that are so great. Like when it switches to this little fantasy moment of like, she sees reality, but then she sees what she wants to see. And when it does those, it's really funny. It works really well. It's really believable. And then when we get to the horror elements at the end, it really hits. Like, a character dies, I won't say how, and we don't really see a lot with it, but the way they did it with the audio design felt so guttural and real and intense that I couldn't help but shrivel up. It was truly masterful. It was something Hitchcockian, and then the very end of it was weird and messed up and really fun. St. Patrick's Day is about a teacher who's trying to connect to one of her students. The student then kind of offers to fulfill her deepest desire, which is to have a child, but it's like a monkey's paw situation of like, it's kind of the worst scenario. And I again really enjoyed this one. It was just so weird and wild. It had some really cool, interesting looking shots, and it wasn't entirely clear what it was all building towards, but it definitely made a lot of sense when we got to the end. Though I will say the end was the weakest point, because there is a creature at the very end, and we saw the creature and it didn't look good. It was a little too silly. I think had they not shown it and been more vague about it, like no close-up shots of it, it would have done a lot more and would have really stuck the landing. But honestly, that didn't bring it down a whole lot for me, just a little bit, because the whole rest of it was just so weird and interesting and just a really fun, silly idea. So again, really like this one. Easter was very short and had kind of an abrupt ending, but I liked the weird twist that they did on it, because it's the night before Easter. This little girl, her mom's telling her about how the Easter bunny's gonna come and bring all this candy and stuff, but then she's like, yeah, but what does Easter have to do with Jesus? And I will say, the twist here is that they combined those ideas in a very unexpected way. I just wish this one would have been a little bit longer, because it was so interesting and weird, but that was really my only complaint. It was just like a fun little weird idea that I loved seeing. Mother's Day was again a solid one. It stopped too early. It had a nice, like, strange build-up. It has this woman who's only 24 years old, but she's had 20 abortions, because every single time she has sex, she gets pregnant. She's just so fertile. And then it builds off of there. And it's again a really interesting idea, and I think they take it to some fun places, but then it just kind of stops. It does stop at a big dramatic moment, but I just needed a bit more of that playing out to really cement this. Father's Day is about this woman who receives a package from her father who's been missing for a long time, and it's like a tape recorder, and she has to follow the instructions on there. It was an alright idea. I liked the lead. She gave a good performance. I've seen her a number of times. I like her a lot. But I don't think it really did enough with the idea, and I don't think the end really worked. This was definitely one of the weaker ones. Halloween is definitely the weakest one. This was the one directed by Kevin Smith, starring his daughter, which is just so weird because he wrote this and he made his daughter a cam girl. All right? The performances were notably bad. It looked okay, but it still just didn't work. So much of it just didn't work. And this premise was dumb. It's about this guy who convinces a bunch of women to be cam girls for him and then is just super abusive towards them. But like if they're doing porn online, they can just go off on their own. I guess this was before OnlyFans, but still, I don't know. It's dumb. This didn't work. The Christmas episode had Seth Green and his wife play a married couple, and there's this whole thing with like a little VR thing that gives you your deepest desires. It felt like a Black Mirror episode. It was all right. I was kind of still recovering from the bad taste of Halloween and didn't really pull me all the way out of it. I do think had Halloween not been there, I would have enjoyed this one more. So this one kind of just gets dissed because of that one. And then it ends with New Year's, which is these two lonely people meet up for a date. He is a serial killer and she's just kind of sad and lonely, but it does have a nice fun ending. It was a good solid end to this. So on the whole, I definitely enjoyed more of these than not. Some of them I would have even liked to have seen as like a whole feature on them. And yeah, no, I was just very happy with it. So if you want a good, fun, interesting horror anthology film, like yeah, look no further. With all anthology films, some are missed, some are hits, and this one's no different. And I think it's worth it to sit through the misses to get to the good stuff. So yeah, no, it is a fun little film that I would totally recommend. Next up is Red State. This is a 2011 film that is so strange. The basic premise is there's this group of people who are like the Westboro Baptist Church, but more domestic terrorists. They kidnap and murder people who do sins, I guess. And then the FBI is coming in to deal with them. This is definitely the beginning of Kevin Smith's bad filmmaking. It seems like he just forgets how to make movies at times, like unmotivated camera movements, scenes that go on for too long, like there's a big sermon speech that just goes on for ever. But then like the big action set piece of the third act was so much fun, so entertaining, so interesting. It just really got me. But that all said, I just don't know what the movie was trying to say or trying to do. There's definitely like political undertones, but I don't really get it. Like part of it too is like the government agency that comes to raid the compound. There's a big moral dilemma with them about what should they do, because they sort of committed a crime when they first got there, but not really, because they don't know what we, the audience, know. So a lot of the end was kind of them debating about doing stuff or what they should do and who has the moral high ground here. And then there's a bunch of stuff about the rapture, which I don't know what to make of that. I think if they would have went one direction, which apparently one version of the script did, it would have been really interesting and unique and I would have really liked it. They didn't go for that route, so I just don't know what to make of it. I will say though, Stephen Root is in this, and he is without a doubt the standout. He kind of disappears though, which is strange, but he was still a delight to see. Thank you, Stephen. So yeah, I liked this film. It was all right. There's definitely weaker Kevin Smith movies than this. It's just unclear what it was trying to do, what it was trying to stay. So yeah, it's not a bad film, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. So yeah, no, it was all right. Would I recommend it? If it sounds interesting, sure, go for it. Just kind of keep your expectations in check. But if this doesn't sound all that interesting, it's an okay one to skip. And lastly is Killroy Was Here. This is a 2022 film, and like, what the Kevin Smith, you know how to make movies. What is this? What are you doing? The basic premise is nonsensical. There is a way to describe it though. So he once again casts his daughter. She is babysitting this little girl, and to just kind of mess with her, she tells the kid about Killroy, who is this local legend that if you say his name 3 times, then he appears and he kills you, but he only does that to children, according to the legend, not according to the movie. He just kills everyone for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. There's no rhyme or reason. So over the course of the evening, the babysitter tells the kid, I think, a bunch of different stories of Killroy going around killing people. And it's not good. Like, firstly, this is based off of the meme from World War II. It was graffiti written all over the place. You can look into it. It is interesting. And like they explained it briefly in the movie, but the character of Killroy in the movie isn't actually related to that. He's a Vietnam veteran who, after after killing a bunch of people, got burned, and then that's how his face got all messed up, and now he goes around killing people. So like, it just doesn't make any sense. And then like, they try to establish rules, but then they just abandon them immediately. So it's just kind of like each of these little set pieces was just kind of built around an idea, and then they backwards into explaining how Killroy was involved. None of it works. Like, there's one section where there's a guy who's like, I'm hunting gators, but it's actually he's hunting gay people, and like he's just outing them and harassing them. He's not actually killing them. But then one day, a wife of someone that he harassed and that person killed themselves, she now wants revenge on him for what he did, so she kills the guy. Notice how none of this has to do with Killroy. And then after she kills him, suddenly Killroy just appears, and then he does the same convoluted alligator kill thing that she did to the guy to her now. And it's like, why is he doing this? Why does he care? What is the point of this? What is happening right now? I do not get this movie because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And the end is super dumb. Yeah, it was just an all and out bad film. It's so weird how sometimes Kevin Smith just forgets how to make movies. He knows how to make really good movies. He's made some incredible movies that I love and cherish. But then he also makes strange dog shit like this. So yeah, it's not my least favorite Kevin Smith movie, but I despise this movie. Kevin Smith, you should have done better. Are you okay? Don't watch this movie. It's just garbage. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Holidays, sitting number 29 in the Quite Like section. And then after that is Red State, sitting number 35 in the Liked section. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, is Killroy Is Here, sitting number 63 in the Didn't Like section. And this is out of a total of 63 old movies so far this year.